Rory said he'd welcome Brooks back into the PGA Tour fold without consequence. How do you feel about that?
They're running a business, and I understand. Look, I'm not in the shoes of somebody who's a rank-and-file player who may be deprived of start because a LIV player is going to be greenlit to come back. They're running a business, and I love the word precedence or precedent. Precedents change all the time, and I think in the case of Brooks Koepka, his permittance to come back basically without penalty. It's interesting what Rory said. It's his way. I don't know that he's taking a dig, but I think he's taking a dig by saying that they suffered their consequences already. I personally don't have an issue with it, but I'm not going to sit here and try to convince a rank and file player who's living on the razor's edge between exempt status or not that they shouldn't be upset. I'm consuming the product and covering it. It's more interesting if he's in it.
I get Phil's mid-50s, but just, as an example here, would you allow Mickelson to come back in? I mean, Mickelson tried to burn it down.
No, and it's a very good point. And I think one of the reasons why Brooks is in the position he's in, he's a commodity. Phil still is now. He still has, this modest marketability. He's one of the greatest players of all time. But Phil lent voice to the disruption. Brooks took the money, left, seemed at times that he was either a combination of disinterested or had buyer's remorse, and he never lent himself, Rich, as you know, to any lawsuit. He never spoke out publicly about what he was leaving behind as being something that didn't fulfill him. He never did that. That's why I think that his status with the players who are going to help make this decision is very different from someone like Phil.
What's the future for Bryson, do you think?
I think Bryson will continue to be one exceedingly interesting. I think, Rich, the thing that's most impressive about him is that when he did all of that he did with respect to bulking up, gaining all the speed, undressed wing foot in 2020, we thought he was kind of a one-trick pony in terms of give him that, and he's going to be among the favorites. His ability over the last 5 years to solve the Rubik's Cube of Augusta National. And I understand the wind laid down at the Open Championship after the opening day. Fair. And if it blew all week, would he have fared as well? Maybe not. But he is one of the most reliable putters from 10 to 15 feet. I find him to be, maniacal, but he will still be I will put him right now. If you said you have to make 5 favorites for every major, I'm not necessarily sure I would exclude him from any one.
What's your sense of what Rory will do this coming season?
Wow. I think that there are going to be, one thing that people maybe conflate is that when he's off, he's way off. No, he's not. He lives on off weeks in the top 25. When he's right and he pulls up his bootstraps, he's ready for the fight to the end. I don't see it being dissimilarly different from the way that it's been in his pursuit to what he finally accomplished, Rich, last year. I do think, and in speaking to him on our last show of the year on 5 Clubs right before the Golf Channel games, I know that there are a couple things, and you know this too. The medal at the Olympics is one of those things. And I also believe, and he's spoken about this, he wants another U.S. Open. He wants to prove that soft and defenseless congressional is not representative of his ability to grind. And look, he's proven that. His U.S. Open record, and even last year, I thought he played fairly well considering the malaise he was kind of going through post-Augusta. Look at his record since Shinnecock in 2018. I think he wants a U.S. Open. Look, if we get Rory and Scottie at Shinnecock with Scottie trying to cross the line for his slam, it'd be something else. I think he'll have a multi-win season and contend to win at least 2 majors.
He's more well-rounded than he's ever been. He's a better putter than people give him credit for. We know Scottie's improved his putting. As Tiger has said, if Scottie putts well, he runs away. How about Scottie in 2026, Gary?
Rich, I was having this conversation today on the golf course. Wish you were there. Here's what I think we're watching right now. We are watching an athlete in his prime, not only in terms of his physical skills. I dare anybody to tell me an athlete anywhere in the world who manages the turbulence, the noise, and the distraction of what celebrity and athletics at the highest level gives you that accompanies accomplishment. His window is wide open. And I'm reserved to talk about bushelsfuls of major championships, because beyond Jack and Tiger, look, Arnold, his last major championship, his seventh, was in the 60s. Watson, it was 83. Gary Player was 78. Those were 8 and 9. And other than Jack and Tiger, those are the only players that have gotten to that plateau. I think he's heading there, and I expect him to do what he did in 24 and in 25, and he'll do it again in 26.
Yeah, psychologically, physically, he's the best built player for major championship golf that I've seen since Tiger Woods. And I know it's easy to jump when a guy's red hot to conclusions. I feel fairly comfortable saying he ends up with no less than 7 majors. He's at 4 already. He's 29 years old. And I would not be shocked if he got to double digits at some point.